The red Terran player on the bottom right side of the map from Team Liquid, your DreamHack or your ESL SE2 Winter Atlanta champion. It is Clem. At the time of recording this, that only happened last night. I'm just so happy for Clem. So many people just wrote Clem off in a big way. They're like, well, why doesn't he go and do it in a big event? Why doesn't he go and perform at the biggest stage? And he pretty much did, okay? It's not a Katowice, it's not a World Championship level event, but it was a premier event. Everyone was there. It was in person, it was offline, and he went and got the job done. How amazing is that? Finally putting some of the doubters to rest for at least a little while, I would hope. Clem in the bottom right is our Terran in this best of 5 series, taking on the ever-dangerous Blue Protoss in the top left corner of the map from Dragon Kaizi Gaming. It is herO. Ooh, herO. Has been maybe not as great this year as we wanted him to be. After a GSL win last year, he has not really had that great of a year in comparison. Like, he's always competitive. He can take down anyone. He can push everyone to their limits. But stringing together a set of results has been an issue for herO this year, and almost so much pressure on him, because when we look at herO, a lot of people will look at him as the standalone Protoss hope. I know we've got max packs, right? But, you know, especially when it comes to offline events, herO is the one Protoss where we go into the event, we're like, herO, he's the one to watch for. You know, and Classic's been doing well, and Showtime's had some good runs, but it really is kind of, everyone's got their eyes on herO's like, herO, we need you to, you know, make a run, we need you to have a performance, because without you, offline Protoss tournaments do not do very well. So been a kind of a weird year, because everyone has expectations for herO every single time. You never quite meet those expectations. It's just not maybe been quite the year that herO wanted it to be for himself either. You've seen a simulator going down. His Zealot will begin to move out onto the maps. That will begin to move out into the center, out across to the other side here. Command Center Factory continues to come through just for a couple of moments, so we get all of that on the way. As our Warp Gate will build on the Cyber Core, a Stalker will continue to Chrono Boost for the moment. Factory is still building. As you see, the Zealot is going to come through. The Reaper will start to dish out a little bit of pain to that Zealot, so a little bit of extra damage being dealt here already. And the Reaper just going to come back around. I'm going to get back to the top left-hand side. Stalker's going to be over here to try and meet it, so intercepting it already. Obviously, the less information that Clem has, the worse decisions he'll have to make, or the more kind of dice roll he has to make his decisions be, which Clem is not that much of a dice roller in this matchup, I would say. You know, I wouldn't say he takes a lot of mega risks. He doesn't try and, you know, do a lot of the crazier things which some Terrans sometimes try and do. Yes, he's aggressive, but he's also very okay at kind of slowing the game down and calming the game down. I wouldn't say Clem ever really forces the issue in terms of like, oh my goodness, I absolutely have to, like, you know, gamble that he isn't going to be ready for Cloak Banshees or something. To me, that's something that Clem's relied on much less than other Terrans have lately. And, you know, in this matchup that is very diverse in the openings and very difficult for Protoss because there's so many things a Terran can do, Clem is still the one where, you know, you see a Widow Mine drop, you see a little bit of an initial aggressive poke, and you kind of know what you're getting with Clem. Like I say, it's never really too crazy. You just know that whatever comes is going to come hard, fast, and it's going to never stop. So there is the Reaper just taking a little bit of a fight. Obviously dealt with the Zealot for a couple of moments. Is a Stargate and a Phoenix play already on the way out from herO. There's a Hellion tries to get in for a little bit of something, but that's not going to go very far. That gets shut down pretty easily. In fact, the Hellion will indeed go down. Reaper hopping up to the high ground, but will not be able to do too much. Gets turned around pretty quickly as well. A couple of Adepts and the Stalkers continue to chase that down for the moment. Well, Clem, a little unaware as to what's going on. He's not seen the Stargate, for example, or the Phoenix. He's just going to build the Cyclone. Which against the Stargate opener is obviously generally going to be a good thing. That's generally what you want to be doing, so that's absolutely fine. Good to see that on the way out for the moment. This Reaper continues to be chased by the Adept, which is going to come through, hit the Reaper one more time. A couple of barracks still coming up, the Cyclone and a couple more Marines all coming out as well. Engineering Bay building on the side of Clem, Tech Lab as well, Refinery coming up. Again, the Immortal and Phoenix production continuing out from herO as the Stalker will get rid of that Reaper up on this high ground, knocking that down immediately. And again, just a bit of Phoenix Immortal continuing through. He tried a Widow Mine drop, but the Phoenix are in position, so this goes absolutely nowhere. This is, again, Clem not really knowing what it is. meaning that he goes, you know, headfirst in with the Widow Mine drop to not get anything out of it, and in fact, he just loses every Widow Mine. And so far, it's just been a perfect defense from herO. 2 Widow Mines, a Hellion, and a Reaper all down, and Clem has had absolutely nothing to show for it so far. Here comes some Marines. Can he get a kill? Finally gets something. He gets himself his first kill of the game in the form of an Adept. But he did lose the Medevac, which again is part of the costly part. He wants the Medevac. Medevac is great to keep alive for later in the game. As Adept goes into the natural, it looks as though it's more so picking up information than anything. That didn't look as though it was going to succeed in doing much at all. So I think just trying to find some info as the Phoenix continuing around over here. The Marines are there to fight those Phoenix a little bit. Missile turret to help, and I mean the Phoenix don't waste too much time in knocking down a couple of those Marines, lifting them up, taking them down nice and easily. Still got the Twilight Council and the Robo Bay continuing through as well, by the way, so that's all continuing into play. hero's very quick to his transitions in this game. He is not messing around. There's those few Phoenix. Going to continue about over on the other side here. Not going to quite be able to get into that natural. Phoenix going to get pushed all the way back to the upper left-hand corner. Colossus on the way. Probes, batteries being built up as well. We got that Forge continuing to come through too. Again, I really like where herO is putting himself. And this is one of those games where I imagine Clem is going to have to play that more slow-going, patient style that he really has been good with lately. You know, this has been something that Clem has succeeded with, so I don't think he should be worried about having to play a longer game, especially on Oceanborn, a map that is typically going to provide a longer game anyways. I think Clem should be going into this map expecting that this could have been the case. And like I said, I don't think he has any reason to necessarily be worried about that just yet either. As that Blink continues up, the Colossus Extended Thermal Lance continues in. +1 attack upgrade coming in on the Engineering Bay. And we still have a few Marines and Medevac working their way to the top side of the map. More Bio through the center, heading over to the far left-hand side. There's a single Phoenix here already, which is going to be hanging around. And again, plenty of Marines up on the top at the same time. Just got to lock onto a Phoenix. So Clem splitting and seeing if there's going to be an opening provided by an overreaction or a bad split from herO. But that's hard to imagine without anything else really going on than just, again, these armies kind of positioning. Hard to imagine herO would make a mistake like that. As a few Marines get lifted up, taken away. And meanwhile, we see a couple more barracks on the way out from Clem back at home, so his production continues to build. It's going to be him going all the way to 5 barracks, but it is behind the 3rd CC as well, so this is not like a 2 base, 5 racks all in. This is just 3rd CC, and now he's getting the production up to play into the mid-game with. Pretty much exactly what we expected to be. Pretty much Clem just playing the exact kind of style you expect Clem to play. So, TLDR, no surprises, everything going as it should be for the moment. Wouldn't mind getting burrowed up and just seeing the rest of the bio coming back around the top. Ghost Academy's on the way, a couple more Vikings and Marauders all coming through. Concussive Shells and +1 armor building up as well right now. Bio gets in over here. Couple Stalkers just going to get pushed around. Bio into the center. We do have Observer Speed, Gravitic Boosters on the way. Bio will fight. The Phoenix and the Stalkers will take some damage. Gonna be a couple of units going down, getting blasted immediately. It's just Phoenix that again absolutely destroyed, so the Phoenix count is going to get absolutely taken out here. That's a big deal. The less Phoenix there are, the less protection is for Colossus. I mean, herO has no Phoenix left at all. That went down very quickly, just 5 Phoenix disappearing. One of those games where you might have expected herO to keep building Phoenix as well, but instead now he just has none. There's no chance he rebuilds from 0. Clem loses 1 medevac on his exit here, trying to push for a little bit further. You know, for how well herO traded initially, Clem is now better off in terms of resources lost. So Clem has had a much better last couple of minutes of this game. That previous fight was absolutely in his favor. All the Phoenix kind of just being gifted away there. I think Clem will be happy about this. Now when you build Vikings, they're so much more meaningful, because beforehand when you were building Vikings, they were going to clash into the Phoenix and probably just trade for some shields, and the Vikings get taken down. Now the Vikings' main target is going to be those Colossi, and they are absolutely going to be able to deliver on those. You see that day in and day out in the TvP, so that at least should be no surprise. The Divine Shot goes down. Love the EMP, hits the sentries, although Guardian Shield was already popped. It does mean no force fields available now on the side of herO, though. Fire still coming through. A couple of Stalkers going to be shot at as well. Go back and forth, and we do just have ourselves the Armory about to finish up from Clem, allowing him to continue into 2-2 upgrades. He does currently hold an armor upgrade advantage here on Oceanborn as herO Relocates back around the right-hand side. Thinking about maybe going up this ramp even. Maybe wanting to attack on him in here. +1 armor halfway done. Disruptor still coming up. A few more probes coming out. Prism will unsiege, and that's going to back away into the center as well. Observer still keeping an eye on the Bioforce, the Vikings, the Medivacs. All those ghosts coming through, and the missile turret's building up as well. There's one more Medivac that gets taken out. The Bioforce will come through so quickly. Very powerful force. So let's just get warped in again. Vikings, missile turrets, ghosts, Marines. The Stalker goes down. hero's staying very aggressive. The only thing I really like about hero's army is that, like, you know, you got the Disruptor in there, so by standing aggressively, you can kind of fire a shot in here and there. Clem's got Ghosts, he's got Vikings. I mean, he really has the force he needs to fight against this. I don't think hero should be able to find a way in. He's going to get over here, though, and find himself at least a Widow Mine or two, so that's a nice catch, if nothing else. We do then see Clem scanning to get rid of the Observer. He's very aware there's likely an Observer there. He was correct. And hero wants to attack into this. I mean, if he attacks in all from this direction, too, maybe if a few Zealots came up from the other side, I'd like that a bit more. Right now, I feel like we're attacking into a really rough spot. I understand you want to keep the Zealots together because it is nice to have the Zealots in front of the Colossi. It's going to be very important to keep those Colossi alive, but maybe this is just not a good fight to take. And hero seems to be kind of on, you know, on agreement with that because he's not taking the fight. He's not committing to it. He's just toying with the idea of being here and just toying with the idea of, hey, look, Clem, I could fight you at any possible moment, right? So just knowing that may keep Clem a little bit more cautious. And just, I mean, is the kind of thing which, if you can take advantage of successfully, then hell yeah, go ahead and take that advantage, take that opportunity. Got two Disruptors now. We'll see again if they can find a couple of pot shots into the army of the Terran. Thought was going to be a good thing as well. As the bio comes through, Stalkers. It's going to get pushed away. There's a couple of Marauders getting taken down. Some more EMPs, Stalkers taking some damage. We do have ourselves the Guardian Shield popping up. Zealots, Colossi, Stalkers coming around here. A couple of Vikings already taking shots. We start to pull back. SCVs just about going to be able to slip through down to that low ground. I mean, we'll see if that base can be survive this. I think it will because the Zealots at the front are currently melting. The Vikings going unanswered, get a Colossus pretty much freely. Clem had good EMPs on the army going into this, and yeah, there just wasn't really any power for hero. His, you know, splash damage is forced to fall back pretty much immediately. There's another one going down. As he loses Colossi, this is going to turn into a Disruptor-only army from hero in terms of splash. That's a big problem, especially if you donate the Disruptor like this. I was going to say there's no way Clem doesn't turn around and take that gift to him. Happy Christmas, Clem. Hero gave you a Disruptor for Christmas. We'll see if he gives you any more. I mean, that's the sort of thing you expect hero to be a bit better at, keeping those units back, keeping those safe. That was not really the level you expect to see from hero. This army's just achieved nothing. Like I say, I like the idea of it being here, but when I kept looking at this army, it sucked, right? It absolutely sucked at every single point. I mean, we've never seen a point where hero's armies really looks as though it can take a fight, unless a big Disruptor shot goes in. The Disruptor comes through, the bio will have to split, the cannons will be there to try and hold this off. That's one of the benefits, having these forward bases, and then the cannons here gives you something to stand on as hero that makes Clem a little bit, you know, less sure about committing into. Clem continues into the center of the map with a little bit more bio. Prism moves around over the far right. 3/3 upgrades coming through. The +2 ship weapons coming out as well. Still got Stalkers, Disruptors, and Immortals. Zealots as well, building out to the front. Disruptor just walks down the ramp. That's not good. The robot facility here is going to die as well, so Disruptor production is really in the bin. Hero's just going to dive across. I mean, he's going to attempt a base trade. Clem's a little worried about that because I think he knows he controls this game. So he doesn't need to let this go to something as crazy as a base trade. He doesn't need to let this go to the RNG of trading out on each side of the map. He knows he can play a much more consistent game than his opponent, so he's going to try and continue to do that by pulling back home. And I mean, this army is trapped unless it can recall away. A couple of Disruptor shots initially. One of them hits okay. The MP is coming down. The Disruptors will again continue to delay Clem and to give hero more of a chance. I mean, this is how hero can essentially force Disruptor shots to get into this fight. That Disruptor dies before it connects. Every Disruptor is going to fall, isn't it? Because hero didn't find a way out before now. Clem is going to capitalize and clean up everything. Recall was not on cooldown. I honestly think herO should have ran to this corner and recalled. The moment he knew Clem was coming back, I don't see in what world he thought he was going to win that fight, unless he really believed in the disruptors, but Clem has shown us no reason to believe the disruptors were going to get massive shots throughout at any point of this game. And they really needed massive shots. Another disruptor shot fires through, and WardiTV continues to set up. There is another round of Zealots warping in. Zealots continue to charge in. Disruptor gets taken out. Zealots still charging forward. There's potential for some EMPs maybe onto Zealots, onto Stalkers. Could be a possibility. We can turn it back around. We go forward once again. Disruptor shot! That one's a little bit better. The Colossus just spawning from this left side. Robo's going to just walk into trouble. If you're going to have Robos in odd positions, you need to rally them carefully, because there's no point having a Colossus spawn only for it to die a couple of moments later. Clem knows he's got momentum on his side, and he's going to use that momentum to push on in with reinforcements. This base on the left is now somewhat separated from the base on the top, so do you actually try and defend this? This is where I said before the stack defense is nice, but now the negatives of this base are being seen. It was great for the previous position, not so great right now. I'm going to actually dive up. That disruptor will go down before it connects, and another disruptor, robo facility, sorry, will go down. We've lost... Actually, we didn't kill it there. We'd already lost one. That would have been the second as Clem comes back over to fight the army instead, prioritizing that. Liberator's still coming up. The Marine Marauder's coming out. The Ghost as well. 7 more Zealots all warping in. 4 more Liberators coming out. As this bio pulls back one more time, Zealots still charging onto our Marauders. As the medevacs load up, we peel away only over the right-hand side. Vikings lift back up. We see, of course, at this stage that there are, in fact, some amount of Colossi being built again, so may as well keep those Vikings alive. Kind of impressive. We have lost 9 Vikings this game, yet Clem still has a fleet of them. So many people might have just given up on Vikings, and that's where the move back into Colossi could have been more successful. Liberators deny the DT attempt on the right with the Prism getting hunted down. Everything is about Clem in this game. I mean, Clem has just put himself in a good position. He's taken good fights throughout. Efficiency-wise, he's been great. The very start of the game was very good for herO. Like, the first few minutes of the Phoenix was very, very good. Since then, we've really not seen much from him at all to really kind of praise. You know, he gave up all of his Phoenix early, and ever since that moment, it feels like this has just not been a pretty game. We're really going to recall into this. I mean, I guess the Zealots getting in range of the units is kind of nice, but every other part of this kind of sucks, right? I'm just going to be seeing the bio now kiting back because we already got rid of the tech units that got recalled into range. And so Clem just takes another good trade. 8 probes going down in the process, and at the same time, oh, guess what? There's an army over here as well. It's just going to go attacking in. And it's going to be Clem taking a game number 1 of this best of 5 series. And boy, did Hebrews bring the firepower. He just pressured and pressured. He clearly knew when things were starting to go his way. He clearly knew when things were kind of able to be handled. And again, what I loved about Clem is the maturity nowadays to just say, okay, I don't have a chance to go in right now. So he's just patient and he waits, and he doesn't just try and force the issue with like loads of aggression and multitasking. He's very capable of sitting back and saying, okay, as we dive into the bottom right corner from Team Liquid, the Red Terran player. This, from Team Liquid, is Clem. Taking on the blue Protoss on the top left side of the map. From Dragon Kaiser Gaming, we've got herO. Down a game. Started so well. The opening was good. The opening was very strong, and it just got away from him when the bigger fights started to happen afterwards. So early defense, brilliant. Every other part of the game, difficult to find good things to say about it. But hopefully, they'll give us some things to praise him on in this game number 2. I did like, you know, again, I come back to kind of saying that army out on the map, and it wasn't a great army. I did like the idea of being out there. It's just, you need to be able to be out there and to pressure and to be, you know, comfortable, but without actually taking a bigger fight. The problem was losing 2 Colossi pretty much for free, then dooms that army even further. And that's the sort of situation that shouldn't come about, right? That's the sort of thing that herO should not be doing. He should be out with that army, but not actually looking to take any fight at any point. The moment he thinks there's a fight about to happen, he should back away because his army's not good enough. And we saw that multiple times over. Eric's about to finish. As the Cyber Core comes up, just part of the wall on the high ground. Nexus comes down early on in Golden Aura. This is a good map to play defensively on. Wouldn't be surprised if herO wanted to play Phoenix again on this one, play defensive. You get a good, very defendable 4 bases. Then after 4 bases, you start getting spread out a little bit more. But if you can get to 4 bases strongly as a Protoss, there's a lot you can do from there as well. So then you don't even necessarily always have to think about, again, you know, base number 5, etc. You just being on a super strong 4-base setup can be very good in itself. As this Reaper is going to begin to move onto the map, and this is going to be Clem's first sign of life outside of his bases. He has not been scouting with an SCV or anything. As we get out to the left, just checking to see if there's anything in common proxy locations, just seeing if there's anything he can spot straight away. When he sees that there isn't, he's likely going to go straight across the map and then try and scout into the base of his opponent instead. So Clem just going through the, I can't think of the word I want to say. Going through the motions, there we go. Going through the motions in the early stages. Yeah, in this game 2. Rope Gate coming up. Twilight Council's just over halfway done. Color Pros continuing out. Stalker's still on the way. And the Adept pops in here. The Reaper and the Marines. Gonna put some damage onto said Adept. And Adept will get pushed around. We're going to see it shading back for a couple of moments as well. It just continues over. So we're going to see the Adept coming over there as well. As Blink will come up. Stalker on the way. And we just have ourselves the Hellion, the Starport, the Reactor all continuing through. This Reaper is going to get back up to the top side. This Adept from the other side is hurt, but going to get back home without issue, it would seem. Another Adept coming through as well, as we just have ourselves the Reaper coming to the front. Stalker is there. The shots, Reaper taking some damage straight away, so again, a few hits going off already. This Reaper is going to go down. Can we get a probe for our troubles? Doesn't really seem like it. Looks as though we're going to be long gone before that Reaper can do too much. You have the Hellion still coming about. It's going to go back over to the left-hand side. Looking to try and grab that probe. A couple of Stalkers and Adepts come out the left side. We'll just chase this away again. Blink about halfway done. Mine still coming out. Got Marines and the Medevac coming through. Everyone just getting established. That 3-base setup from herO coming through without a problem. Obviously, Clem is now able to get his first Widowmine drop of the game on the map. He's seen the 3rd base, so he knows this is not mega aggression. It is Blink Stalkers, but it'll never be a 4-gate Blink if the 3rd is that quickly. It'll not even be a 3-gate Blink if the 3rd is that quick. Well, it actually is 3-gate Blink, but it shouldn't be a very aggressive 3-gate Blink because the 3rd goes down so soon you have to cut some amount of warp-ins. As the Medevac comes up to the top. Excuse me. And these couple of Widowmines will be looking for a chance to jump into the main next moment or two. A few Stalkers are there, though. They'll be able to keep things back for the moment. Stalkers, probes, robo facility just going and continue in. +1 attack on the engineering bay getting set up. The Raven's about to finish. Stim's still building through. Raven and a group of Marines going to hang around on this high ground. Starport moves back over the edge. And again, a couple of Marines and a Marauder on the way. Stim and Combat Shield all coming out. We will see this Raven of Clem already heading across to the far left-hand side of the map as well as we speak. So just getting that straight across over to the left. Away we go. And Stimpack, Combat Shield +1 all coming through. Marines and Marauders still producing. SCV's coming about. Raven coming in. It's going to come around the back. It's going to drop down an order turret. First couple of probes. We'll just get knocked down. So a little bit of harassment. Not too much of issue right now. Is just have our Stalkers going to fire. Raven going to hide over on the left still. We've got a Hellion chilling out on the bottom left as well. And charge coming through the extra gates, Temple Archives, and Forge producing on in. And +1 Stim and Combat Shield all building up as our Medevacs load, and Clem will begin to move out up the right-hand side of the map. Away he goes, all the way up to the top. Away he moves. So first, a little bit of aggression, really. It's been a pretty passive game, all said and done. 1 Reaper, 1 Probe, the only losses we've seen on either side so far. Here, just going to try and get in towards Storm, which playing Blink into charge into Storm has become a more popular thing over the last few months. It's always, to me, a very fragile style, though. It's the kind of thing that can fall apart very quickly if you're not careful. Let's see how exactly herO manages this. Right now, making sure stuff like this drop not getting in is very important. Minimize the ways in which Clem can potentially deal damage. Hallucination will miss this move out, although actually he has an observer right here, so he does see this move out, never mind me. So yeah, sees that straight away. That's obviously fantastic. And Clem just begins to get across to the top side of the map. The medevac's still just hanging outside the base for a couple of moments as well. So we'll keep our eyes on those as see the one adept. Again, information very critical here for herO. Constantly noticing where his opponent is at, what his opponent is moving to. Just having all the ways in which to scout available to him. As he did dive into the main base, he's going to find Clem. The Forge initially... Oh, he could get the Forge if he wants to finish it off. At the same time, he's already pushing into the natural as well. A couple of defensive storms come down here. Clem kind of gets pushed away in the low ground, and the main base is going to get cleaned up as well, so we'll also get chased out of here. Yeah, that's going to do it for now. A couple of Widow Mines that were left over at the front now going to get pushed back and cleaned away as well, so that will be pretty much the end of that one. And Clem continues to pull back down to the bottom side of the map, so he's going to get all the way back over here for the moment. That is going to mean that everything settles down once again. Alright, exciting first couple of moments when you look at what was really lost throughout. If I can press my buttons properly. When you look at what was lost throughout this, you notice that actually a couple of High Templar, resources lost especially, still favorable to Clem, so I think he's going to be pretty okay about how this opening fight went for himself. I don't think he'll have any immediate complaints. Medevacs continue through. A couple of pros going down again. The Raven just auto-turreting every now and again to hit herO and a little bit more of the economy. Clem catches the attempted Zealot run-by. That's obviously big as well. Making sure Zealots don't get to his bases. Just less things for Clem to worry about is always going to be a good thing. Makes his life that much easier. herO is moving out onto the map with that Storm. I'm not sure how much he's necessarily going to be able to get across here to do. Clem's kind of missing him, though, so without that information, Clem might be in a weird spot where herO can get to the high ground. What is usually a very defendable set of bases, not so defendable in this scenario. Oh, but the Prism goes down! No! That's so bad. 6 High Templar now dead, and a 7th as well. Clem is just murdering High Templar. Oh, losing all of your Storms, but this is the only Storm in the game, and it gets EMP'd! Well... that is absolutely how you lose a game. That's just nothing else to say. That was so sad for herO. I mean, yeah. That was awful. I mean, that really couldn't have gone any worse. All of your High Templar are in that Prism. I mean, going into that fight as well, like, I was looking at this, I'm like, I'm not sure I love herO looking for a fight, but maybe if he takes a 4th behind it. You know, if he has good Storms, there's definitely something you can do, and there's definitely something to be said about this portion of Clem's army being out on the map, but Prism just going down overhead, so sad, and yeah, I mean, then what over here? The Ghost just dropped EMPs. I mean, the Ghost just found value after value after value every single time they did anything. I mean, knocking all the High Templar down just makes the rest of this... You're so reliant on the Storms. To not have any Storms available to you is truly somewhat disastrous. This best of 5. In the top right-hand corner, the red Terran player from Team Liquid. This is Clem. Takes on, in the bottom left-hand side, the blue Protoss player from Dragon Kaizi Gaming, herO. Game number 3 of this best of 5. herO needs to win this to stay in the tournament, otherwise his Christmas Day games are going to come to a pretty quick close here today. And we will have, if Clem wins this, it's obviously TvZ in the semi-finals for him against Solar, also TvZ with Björn against Dark. A couple of fab TvZs setting up, potentially. Would not mind herO taking some maps, though. Would not mind. When I looked at the bracket, I was like, you know, Dark Showtime, Solar, Gumi Hope, and Max Spec. So that was all great series, but I think the one I got most excited for from the start was Clem herO. That's probably my fault. I'm getting the most excited for it, and it's turning into a bit of a flopper. There's a gateway. Comes up on the high ground. We do get a proxy pylon, so herO is going to go with a little bit of a different vibe in this game number 3. He's going to get a little bit more aggressive as he puts the second gateway proxied. I like it. Changing the pace and clearly playing the longer game, or trying to play the longer games, is not working out for him. He's getting shut down before he's really expecting to. I like this vibe a lot more. I feel like this potentially does a lot more for him. So let's see if it does work out. Clem will SCV Scout. He hasn't SCV Scout every game. This isn't the fastest SCV Scout either, but it is an SCV Scout, so you will notice the lack of an expansion on the low ground fairly soon from his opponent. That, at the very least, is a little bit of a heads up from Clem. A little sad from herO, but it could have been worse. Clem could have scouted even sooner than this. As you see the SCV Seasonal Nexus, that's an immediate warning sign that something is a little bit off 2 minutes into the game. And now the Reaper, are we going to go hunting for a proxy, or are we just going to come across the map? Clem knows there's a gateway at home because he saw the Zealot. I think the Reaper's just going to come and meet the Zealot halfway so he can start putting some damage on its shields. The more damage he gets on the shields, the less HP he has to work out at some point. And he might get more than just the shield damage, right? So Clem already intercepting this and doing a good job just working through what herO is trying to work with. As that Reaper continues forward, Zealot continues to take some shots. Dropping lower and lower. Adept shades up to the high ground there. Reaper will take a shot or two from the Adept. Reaper pulls back around the left-hand side. The Adept moves forward again. Bunker is about to finish as Reaper comes back around. And Zealot comes through there. And again, just going to be seen at Command Center. It's about to finish without too much issues, so we do get that finish. Couple Marines get into the bunker as well, so having the bunker is obviously a big defensive victory for Clem. Having that in position is going to help him massively right now. The Adept just comes shading through, and the Reaper popping now. See if there's anything for it to do. Nope, just jumps back in. 3 Marines in the Reaper. Good DPS in that bunker. Enough to fend off most things in these early stages. Maybe now we lose an SCV. There's a Adept coming through. The IO unit's honestly just doing well enough against this to start off with, at least. Now we're going to be seeing these couple Stalkers. Now might be able to get rid of one of those Marines, but we're moments away from a Cyclone, and now these Stalkers are trapped. But there goes Stalker number 1. Stalker number 2, I don't think is going to have much of a better solution, as the Cyclone will busy itself with the Adept for a moment instead. We try and recall the Stalker, which might actually work for herO, but that's... Oh, no, it does die! The Marine and the SCV together got the kill. Okay. Okay, it's a wash for herO, man. I mean, he killed a few units, but he invests so much into this to be so badly off resources lost-wise. He gets a couple more Marines right there, I believe. But now the Cyclone's going to clean up these Adepts as well, and that's the problem. This Cyclone is just killing everything. They actually do manage to shade away. One of those Adepts survives. It's something, but... I mean, look at the tech for herO. Wait, what tech, Wardy? Yeah, exactly. It's non-existent. Robo Facility is only just about halfway done. And with only a halfway done Robo Facility, it's hard to really imagine that Clem is going to have too many issues. I mean, I actually kind of like the Banshee, because if herO tried to go into anything but a Robo, he'd probably just die. And he might still, because he's still going to have a lack of units. He's looking to feign aggression at the front still. This Banshee might just get in and get a bunch of workers. And honestly, any amount of workers right now is deadly, because herO's already behind by 6. In a matchup where typically the Protoss wants to be ahead by about 6, he's really far off from where he actually wants to be. Obviously, usually even more than 6. 6 to 8 to 10. Kind of depend on what exact time in the game. Generally, Protoss wants to be ahead. They want to be mining more to be able to deal with the Terran onslaught. And as we can see right now, that is really just not happening. Not at all. As this Banshee goes all the way out down to the south. Going to be heading in towards the natural next couple of moments. I think hero's just going to die here, guys. He has nothing to defend this Banshee. The units all across the map. This Banshee's going to have Cloak as well, so you're going to need an Observer. We didn't build an Obs, we actually built a Prism, so... Yeah, Banshee shows up, doesn't even have to Cloak just yet. Now you're going to have to warp in back at home when hero's trying to be all out over here. Does get a warp into the main base, but this Banshee cloaks. There's no detection, so you can freely damage the Stalkers. That's the only thing that can fight against this. One tank spawns. Might need some SCVs to repair it, honestly, but it doesn't look like there's any target fire that can get far enough forward. herO is going to start killing some SCVs, but Clem was already killing workers with the Banshee. And herO just has absolutely no answer at all. And Clem is going to make this the most one-sided series of the tournament so far. As game number 1, bit back and forth, but generally felt as though Clem was still controlling throughout. I mean, outside of the first 4 or 5 minutes of game number 1, it felt like Clem just absolutely dominated this series end to end. He was absolutely the player to beat in this one. And herO just apparently couldn't stand up to the pressure. And that means that Clem is going to advance through to the semifinals to play against Solar in the WardiTV Christmas Day Games.